On 10 September 2020, Singapore Airlines Group announced that it will cut around 4,300 positions across its 3 airlines as the aviation industry continues to be hit by the impact of COVID-19. It is thought to be the first time since the SARS outbreak in 2003. The airline said that it is affected by what it calls a long road to recovery. The number of employees affected, however, may be reduced to about 2,400 or 9% of its workforce, after factoring in measures like a hiring freeze and voluntary departure schemes. According to SIA, collectively, these measures have allowed the group to eliminate some 1,900 positions. Its CEO said it was the toughest decision he had to make since joining SIA 30 years ago. Airline, which expects to operate at less than half of its capacity by March 2021, says it is worse off than airlines from other nations without domestic markets. In March 2020, SIA announced 96% cut of its scheduled capacities, grounding 140 aircrafts from its fleet. In April 2020, staff members are required to go on no-pay leave each month, and management teams saw itself with big pay cuts of up to 25%. Earlier round in February, the chief executive has his wage cut by 30%. In May 2020, Singapore Airlines reported its first financial net loss in its 48 years history. Net loss amount of 212 million Singapore dollars. SIA in June 2020 has raised 10 billion Singapore dollars of fresh funds through its recent rights issue as well as through other credit facilities, as the airline industry navigates an unprecedented crisis caused by the coronavirus pandemic. All employees ranked managers and below were taken deeper pay cuts with 10% wage reduction in July 2020, while SIA ground staffs and pilots were offered early retirement. On August 2020, SIA offered its cabin crew early release or retirement. Voluntary release scheme were open to cabin crew, including those on probation as well. With all the measures taken to stay afloat during the global pandemic, it still wasn't enough to prevent this latest job cuts. Airline CEO Chun Fong-go says when the battle against COVID-19 began, none of us could have predicted its devastating impact on the entire aviation industry. 8 months on, the carriers that have collapsed continues to rise. It's still not clear who will ultimately survive this crisis. Singapore Transport Minister announced they will do its best to support the affected workers. He adds that the vast majority that are laid off are foreigners. The workers affected are the same people we see at the airport, the cabin crew in their uniform that have become a symbol of pride for Singapore. The government will do all we can to support the affected workers. More importantly, we will continue to press on to restore air travel safely. Nina Victor Aviation would like to wish those affected all the best for your future endeavors. It was nice working with you all. Thank you.